Whether you're married or single or poly or ace, or hanging out with swingers back at your place, listen to us as we give no fuck on Tinder and Bumble and plenty of yucks, trying and having no luck, because we all know dating kinda sucks. Sarah and Adam are two of a kind. He says stupid shit and she doesn't mind. They're not doing this show to make any buck. Life as a chicken whose feathers he plucks. Why does it work? Well, here is the crux. They both know dating kinda sucks. Dating kinda sucks.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Adam Heath Avitable.
This is Dating Kinda Sucks, a podcast about dating, sex, and relationships. This week, we'll be talking about navigating the new normal in all of your relationships. Enjoy the show.
So here we are, back with another episode 2 weeks later.
It's a little late this week, but that's okay.
Yeah, we are a little late. Wonder why that could be.
It's always my fault, I guess. It's always my fault.
Not always, but I mean, we've never been late. We've skipped a week for reasons, but we've never actually been late with an episode. This is the first time we're going to just do one a day late.
Yeah.
We're recording this literally on Monday night. Like this.
I normally edit it, so we're a tab behind, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's all right. It's okay. We're here. Hopefully everybody's being safe and staying, inside mostly, or at least wearing masks when you're going outside. I realize that I say that, and then anybody
you
who
don't
follows
wear
me,
one.
Well, no, I do. I wear them when I go outside, but if I go to a bar, I take it off when I'm sitting at the bar. But that's when I take photos. So, like, I realized I went to Savannah, a couple weeks ago, and we decided, Lisa, I was with Lisa, and we decided to take a picture of every single time we were at a different bar. But that's when we were sitting at the bar. So it looks like we're just like, fuck it doesn't matter. But no, we were actually careful, except for that part.
Yeah. Well, who follows you on social media anyways?
That's true, yeah.
A lot of people, actually.
Yeah, I know. Too many.
No one was judging you. They know. You don't really care.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. People want to judge me, they can judge me. They don't know my life. You don't know my life. You don't know me.
Mm-hmm.
So, here we are, mid-July. Still a pandemic. It didn't go away in a couple days. The world is still ending.
Great.
What's been going on with you?
I'm still getting laid. So the reason why we're late.
I'm still getting laid.
Well, the reason why we're late is because I was a little busy having sex when Adam and I had planned to record, and then I slept, like I took a nap. I was going to say I slept with Master Nun, but I did do that, and then we fell asleep. And then, Adam was like, well, I guess, what are we doing?
Yeah.
So. Yeah,
and should I tell him what your reply was to me?
I know. No, it's so funny. The second I texted you that, I told Master Nun, I was like, this is gonna Adam's gonna say some shit now, so yeah, go ahead.
I'm pretty sure what you said. I don't have it in front of me, but if I'm just my recall from last night was, I'm so sorry. I'm naked, covered in semen right now, so we can't do this right now.
It's more like an answering message. I'm sorry I can't get to the phone right now. I'm naked and covered in semen, but please leave a message and I'll get back to you at my earliest convenience.
I'm sorry we can't record Dating Kinda Sucks right now, but I'm just swimming in jizz. So if you check back later. And my reply to you was, all right, call me when you're not sticky.
Yeah, and then 10 minutes later, I was like, I have a shirt on. You're like, thank God. Yeah,
that was quite a I figured that's probably what was happening. And I was like, I remember the days when you weren't getting laid, and I was. And I don't think I ever was putting
I know you
priority.
You weren't, but this is a pandemic, so I think it's a little different.
Oh, yeah, is that what it is? Now that you're getting laid, you're basically like, that's just like that. You're like all about the dick all the time.
I mean, I do get it quite frequently now, so I'm not mad about that either. But
I'm glad you are.
It's the most consistent thing in my life right now.
Right.
Oh man.
So what's been going on with you and Master and Nun, other than the fact that he covered you in semen last night, which
yeah, I mean that happened.
Need to know, but yeah,
that was just like always assumed, right? But
right.
So 4th of July, I got back in from town after visiting my family, and we decided to watch fireworks and kind of spend the evening together. And he had asked, do you want me to come over to your place or do you want to watch fireworks? And I figured we should probably mix it up from just constantly going back to my place. So we went to watch fireworks, and something really weird, like I had a really reflective moment as I was leaving my apartment, walking to my car, going to like meet up with him to watch fireworks, because as the fireworks are going off and everything, and I see like the red, white, and blue everywhere, I was remembering where I was last year, which last year, obviously a lot has changed this year from last, but last year I was at my friend's 4th of July party, drunk, crying over Sergeant Slaughter, texting him because he was supposed to come home from whatever country he was in. And so
I did not remember that, but
I tried not to tell a lot of people that, because it was like definitely a relapse of my feelings toward him at that point, because I knew he was going to come back home eventually, and I thought he was going to come back early July. So I texted him as I'm watching the fireworks on my friend's balcony, and he's like, I'll be home in a couple weeks. And I was like, oh, okay. So I knew in my mind that he was going to be home, and I had that small sparkle of hope, even though he treated me like shit, that, maybe if he reaches out to me in the next couple weeks when he gets home, we can rekindle things. And, everyone knows the story that didn't happen. We never, actually, that was the last time we spoke. So as, I meet up with Master of None, and he has his arm around me, and we're watching fireworks, and it started raining and everything was fine. And I don't know, I had this moment of, wow, a year ago I was crying over some asshole who never treated me right, because that happened. And then now I'm got this guy, whose arm is around me, and I don't know, I was just like really fucking cheesy and lame me, and I was just like, so much has changed, and I'm just so much happier now. And yeah,
good. I mean, that's the goal, is to get happier and and get rid of people like Sergeant Slaughter and find people who seem to be good for you. That's good. I mean, the only negative part of that whole thing is you had to waste your time watching fucking fireworks.
I know you hate fireworks.
Stupidest fucking thing in the world. It's like, whoever thought of this fucking idea? Like, just let's just put pieces of paper and gunpowder and just bright colors. Like, are they just designed for the simplest people in the world who all they need, they just like colors and sounds? Because I find them to be absolutely ludicrous and just obnoxious, and I fucking hate them. Anyways.
We know this, and when there's nothing else to do, when there's nothing else to do because everything's shut down, you watch some fucking fireworks, okay?
I don't
when
know
it's either sit inside and watch Netflix or go outside and watch some fireworks, I'm gonna watch some fireworks. That's just me though, because it only happens once or twice a year. Yeah, of course.
Or like in my neighborhood, it was happening once or twice a night for like a fucking month.
Yeah, you and a lot of other people too. That wasn't happening in my neighborhood, but
it's because you're not in a residential neighborhood, really, right?
Right.
Like you're in a residential building, but you're not really otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You don't have rednecks who go across the border to South Carolina to buy the biggest thing they can spend all of their hard-earned money on, and spend 2 weeks of their paychecks just so they can blow up some shit for 30 seconds and
Are you done? Are you done?
Yeah, okay, I'm done. Fucking fireworks.
But anyway, so after the fireworks happened, obviously we came back to my place and then spent the evening together. But that was like a really, I guess that was like the first moment where I was starting to, not that I haven't developed feelings for Master of None, but I started to like.
I mean, I hope you would develop feelings by now. I mean, you guys have been together now for 3+ months.
Yeah. So, but I think I've been really hesitant of trying to feel because I'm afraid of getting hurt. Sure. So I think that on 4th of July was the first time I was like, ooh, what are these feelings? Why do I don't know. It's just been a little different these past couple of weeks now.
Sure, it just wasn't abject disgust of the fireworks?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. But so yeah, that was that. And I mean, we haven't really done any or gone on any adventurous dates or anything like that. That was like the one big date. I will say though that we had really rough sex this week, and I was in pain, and I was freaking out that I had something, but it was just rough sex, so nothing too interesting.
What do you mean you thought you had something?
Well, I started freaking out because after we finished, my vagina was just burning, and it was just burning, and then I'm like texting, and then I stupidly went to go work out. So I'm like in pain, and then I'm already on the way to the
You're
gym.
a genius.
Idiot me. So I start working out, and I'm like, okay, it kind of hurts, but it's getting better. And then I get back to my car, check my phone, and he sends me like, well, it could be a UTI, or it could be a yeast infection, or it could be this or whatever. So then of course I call my on-call friend who's a PA, and I ask her, and she's like, no, it just sounds like rough sex. Just
Right.
yeah, that's what it is. But
did you do that move where he lays back and then you sit on top of his dick and then you just spin around like a helicopter?
no,
Because
I
that
did not sit.
I could see
It
that.
wasn't a
Yeah,
sit and
you can do
spin.
that. Okay. Because I could see that causing some friction, maybe too, just the spinning action.
Yeah, I don't really know why why that happened, but that was new things happening in my sex life. So yeah, that's
I
about
remember
it though.
there was a time when Tinkerbell and I were having sex, and I think she just wasn't like wet enough, and we didn't use any lube, but we were both drunk, and she just like shoved my dick inside her, and we had sex. But like afterwards, like my dick was sore, like it was sore because
Oh God.
she just wasn't she wasn't wet enough for us to be. We should have used lube, and it would have been fine. But at the time, neither of us really noticed. But afterwards, I was like, yeah, it was like I had to ice it.
Yeah.
Oh, the good old days.
So no sex in your neck of the woods or anything
Not in my neck of the
exciting?
woods. Not in my anywhere in my nowhere near me. That's okay. I haven't really been pursuing it anyways. It's been fun. I've been focusing on everything else. I do have a kind of like a fun thing planned though, which will just be kind of fun. It'll be like Tinder memory lane thing I got going, and that's next week. Because yes, next week I will be going on a road trip. I decided that I just want to get out of town, so I am gonna head up to
He's
Nashville.
touring around the country, guys.
Yeah, just doing a tour by myself. Um, yeah, I'm gonna go up to Nashville and I'm gonna see you. We're gonna do a live episode while I'm there, like not a live episode, but a in-person episode when I'm there. And then from there, I'm actually going over to Lexington, Kentucky, where I am meeting up with Dirty Dancing. I know.
And she's married now, just to remind
Yes,
everybody.
to refresh everyone's memory, Dirty Dancing and I met when she was a sea lion trainer down in South Florida, or not South Florida, and over in West Florida. And we were just kind of talking and stuff, and she just somehow found somebody while we were in the process of it. And since started talking to the guy, got engaged and married by now. And now, someone who never wanted kids, she is now a stepmom to 2 children and lives in a small town in Kentucky, which is where she's from, that general area in Tennessee, actually. But I was telling her, and I was like, yeah, I'll come out. And so she's going to come up to Lexington, and we're going to at least get to hang out. I haven't seen her, well, since before she met this guy. I haven't seen her since then, because we had plans, and then it just kind of fell through, and I was going to actually officiate the wedding, which
I remember that. Yeah, I remember
was totally
that.
wanting to do, but I couldn't make it work because it was right over Christmas time, and you were in town, and so her wedding was the same night that we did the Dating Kind of Sucks meetup. So I couldn't.
I also remember that too.
I had to
Is that why you were drinking a lot at the strip club that night?
That's just because it was a Friday night, and yeah, so that'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see her. And then another fun thing is, on my way back, there is someone who's become a friend that I matched with on Tinder when I was touring on doing comedy. And I was in Greenville, I believe, at the time. And we matched on Tinder. We had a great conversation. We started just messaging back and forth, and then became like eventually friends on Facebook, and we stayed friends. And we've never actually met in person because I didn't have a chance to meet when we matched when I was in Greenville, because like the next day I was out of town to go somewhere else, etc. And now she lives in like small town South Carolina, like in the middle of fucking nowhere. And like it's a town that I was looking up hotels, and all the hotels were 30 miles away.
There's literally nothing. Okay.
They have one little tiny hotel in the middle of the town that doesn't have a website. And I called them, and they're like, oh, well, we just decided to start booking all of our rooms through Airbnb because it was easier. So like all their like it's this little
Oh
boutique
God,
hotel.
you could never catch me there. Nope.
It'll be interesting. But so I'm stopping there, and actually she just invited me. She's like, you just stay at my place. She goes, I have plenty of room. I have a guest room and stuff. So I'll be staying there and getting to meet her for the first time, which is going to be really cool.
Wait, she invited you? I mean, I guess you guys have been talking for a while, just on and off casually as acquaintances, but I'm surprised that she invited you to stay at her house.
I wasn't expecting it. I told her, hey, I found this cool place, so I'll be staying actually nearby, and we can, this is the night I'll be there. And she's like, why don't you just stay with me? And I have a guest room, and as long as you don't mind, it's pink. And I was like, I don't care. And yeah, so
Wow.
yeah, I mean we've talked a lot. Like we've talked about a lot of things. She's in the Dating Kind of Sucks group. She's had issues with stalkers and stuff like that. So like she and I have chatted quite a bit. So we've become good friends. So it's more than just acquaintances in that case.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
I just worry for, obviously, like, how much does she really know you? I mean, she can listen to the podcast or whatever, but if I was in her shoes and I didn't really know somebody, I would not be.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Yeah.
To my house.
Yeah. I mean, she and I are Facebook friends, and we've chatted a lot about a lot of different things. So it's something where I would say that we know each other pretty well. Okay. So yeah, because that's why I didn't even consider. It didn't even occur to me to ask her about staying with her. I was like, no, I'll find a hotel, and then just meet up with her, briefly while I'm there.
Is there anything to do where you can meet up? I mean, if there's
probably not. Probably just
aren't any hotels. What else are you gonna do?
There's probably a dry county. There's probably no bars. Yeah, who the fuck knows? I don't know. But if I'm going to be driving, so I'm going to have a full bar with me, as I drive, just to.
Oh, that sounds legal for sure.
Well, not to drink and drive, but like
I'm just saying. Well, you're like, I'll bring the bar with me, and I'll just.
Yeah, when we're in, you'll see when you see my place in Nashville, I'm gonna have a drink set up. Oh yeah, it'll be great.
I'm not trying to be throwing up in a Honey Baked Ham parking lot like I was when we were in Orlando.
So I'm looking forward to that trip, though. It'll be nice to get out. It'll be nice to, it'll be nice to see Dirty Dancing. It'll be nice to see this new friend as well, and that'll be really it. And it'll be good, of course, good for you and I. It'll be nice to see you and maybe meet Master of None potentially.
I don't know. Maybe it depends on him staying out later, whatever we have planned. So
get out of the house or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, he's still on house arrest.
I know.
But yeah, we'll see if he shows up.
See what happens.
Mm-hmm.
If not, I'll just assume terrible things about him. So
great. Well, I mean you and I were talking about this. This would pretty much be the only opportunity you're gonna have to meet anyone that I'm dating.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Because we don't live in the same city.
Until that point comes, you guys are dating seriously enough that you come down to Florida with them.
Can you imagine?
Oh,
I don't even want to go down to Florida, period, and then bring someone else into that.
I would stay away. I would stay away from Florida. Like that's why I'm trying to get out of Florida. I don't want to be here right now. And I figure, I'm gonna be traveling by myself. I have masks, I have hand sanitizer. Like I'm not planning on going out and doing crazy shit while I'm in these different cities anyways. I'm just gonna work and
stop to get gas at gas stations, eat at whatever random restaurant you can find along the way. And
I won't eat while I drive because each stop I'm stopping, I'm only driving like 5 hours total a day. So like I'm breaking it up. So that way, like I'll just be at a hotel and then whatever bar, that serves food is nearby, whatever pub I can find, I'll just go sit up there and do some work and drink and eat. And, it'll be fun and it'll be safe.
Oh, well, that sounds fun. I wish I could do that.
Yeah, it'll be nice. It's nice to have no real job and no real source of income during a pandemic and being able to do this, yes.
Great. So happy for you.
Right. It's nice to be a hobo, a transient. So that's all that's going on with me. No other dating, really. I mean, I've been chatting with some people on Tinder, talked to somebody that I matched with. We've been getting along pretty well so far, but like she's in Tampa, and when I eventually get a chance to meet her, who knows when that's going to be. So, but we've we've enjoyed our chats so far, so that's been nice.
Still no virtual dates or anything like that from you because you hate them.
Virtual dates, yeah.
And fireworks. You don't like virtual dates or fireworks. You should just put that on your profile at this point. So.
I know. Yeah, no, I have no desire to do any of that stuff. And I was talking to my mother the other day because it was her birthday, and everyone kept FaceTiming her while I was talking to her on the phone. And I was like, God, I fucking hate FaceTime. And she's like, oh, I like it. I like to be able to see faces. And I was like, yeah, I don't want that. I just let me just talk. I enjoy FaceTiming with you half the time, except when you call me when I'm in the shower or whatever. But everyone else, I don't want to FaceTime people, and I don't want to go on a FaceTime virtual date because if I'm gonna want to see somebody for the first time, especially, I want to see them face to face. I want to actually be able to see their body language and see like who they are as a person and have that like kind of closeness where you can read them to a better
You'll have
degree.
that energy.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what's missing with the virtual dates is the energy back and forth where you can kind of get an idea of their body language, at least from like the chest up, depending on how they're holding their phone or whatever. But the energy of feeling like, oh, this is going well or not, you don't necessarily get 100% of that.
Yeah, and I need that. That's what I rely on to see if someone's worth me spending time on is that interaction. When I used to hire people, I could tell that they seemed okay, but it was when they came in for that interview that in the first 10 seconds of the interview I could tell if they were going to be a good fit. But I needed them to be there for me to see them and kind of, and it feels so weird to say, but like to just kind of read their energy, just to really kind of see who they are as a person. And you don't get that through any type of video or anything like that. You never get any type of just reaction like that.
Right. Would you do a phone call?
Yeah, phone calls are okay. Phone calls.
I feel like you've done phone calls in the past.
Yeah, and I have, and I enjoy talking. Like I don't mind talking on the phone, so that's not bad. And phone calls, like it's like with a phone call, I can walk around the house and do things because if I'm talking, I can fold laundry and do the dishes and I can talk on the phone. It can't do that if you're FaceTiming unless you're wearing your phone on your face, like you're wearing some type of weird headset or something. Yeah, you can just have it like
attached to your chest and you're just walking around, or
attached to like a selfie stick glued to your head. I don't know how you do it, but whatever. So you can't do that, and so like that annoys me.
Well, also people perceive that as kind of rude because you should be just sitting down giving them all of your attention.
Most people aren't worth all of my attention.
And you're very sassy today. Jesus.
I mean, it's true though.
You're not wrong. Yeah.
I can't argue with that. Nothing else for me. Nothing, no new adventures for you either.
I really wish I had something exciting to say. I will say that dating Master of None right now, it's become a little normal now, like there's not the weird trying to how we were from the beginning to now of trying to stay 6 feet apart. We've passed that point and now we really know each other. Like I said before, I've met his family through virtual games that we played online, and I don't know, and he knows a lot about my friends and I know a lot about his, and I don't know, it feels normal. I do wonder, what the next step is, and we just kind of haven't talked about that. We are, I forgot to mention this earlier, we are kind of calling each other babe now, so there's that.
Oh, okay.
I know, which we weren't doing a couple weeks ago, and now we are, so that's kind of progressed a little bit. It's actually funny. It's kind of like after I talk about it in the episode, then we kind of discuss it and then we decide what are we going to do about that. So yeah, but besides that, I mean, nothing else has really changed. It's nice dating him. I'm happy. So
I'm glad.
It's just like chill. It's just really chill. I think old me with other guys that I've dated that I really, really liked, I got over emotional way too quick and thought, oh, this could be something amazing. And with him, I'm not that 10 steps ahead type of person that I used to be, because one, who knows what this world is going to look like by the end of the year. And two, it's
True.
like, I don't want to take away from the now. And I think that's what I always fucked up in past relationships because I was so focused on looking a certain way or the future, where now I'm like, oh, well, we're just doing our thing.
I also think that you would see people's red flags and see the issues, and you would start getting into them to think, oh, now I need to really kind of move this fast to try to see where they're good, like all their good traits. Like I need to kind of, maybe if I push past these, like the shitty stuff that I'm seeing, then we'll get to the good stuff faster too. Whereas you've met someone who's actually seems like a genuinely good person and is someone who's, thoughtful and considerate and respectful and all these things. And so you haven't had to try to rush past, like drive through 3 red lights to get to the green light. You're actually just kind of taking your time. You're like, oh, I can actually, I can get there when I want to.
Yeah, so, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Potentially.
And potentially. I mean, we don't know what other skeletons are in his closet. I'm not sure. But...
Oh, no, I'm talking about him. I'm saying potentially with you. Yeah. And just how you were. I think that could be what it was, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think I just really pushed wanting to be in a relationship so much that I just like craved, I don't know if it was the attention from men or thinking, I see some of his problems, but he'll change for me, which is so fucking toxic and that's never going to work ever. Right. And like you said too, I just ignored red flags or just didn't really want to talk about the red flags. I knew what they were, but I figured those would be things that he would work on if he cared about me enough. And newsflash, people don't really change. So
I mean,
just cut your losses.
They have to do it for themselves. They're not going to change.
Exactly. They're not going to do it
yeah.
for, exactly. They're not going to do it for someone that they like. They have to internally want to fix those things. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. But,
well, I mean, I'm really glad this has been going well, and it's I would say that I'm gonna speak on behalf of the listeners too, and say that they probably genuinely appreciate being able to, like, live vicariously as like you have this burgeoning new relationship that you share so transparently with people. So it's it's not easy, and it's not easy to find somebody who's also willing to put up with that and deal with that. Like, it can be hard to be under that type of spotlight, and but I think it's probably very appreciated from all of our listeners.
I mean, well, one, thank you, and two, I think I still have past relationship PTSD especially when it came to think about Sergeant Slaughter and some of the other men that I've dated, where I would post publicly on my Instagram about things that we were not getting along with or about, and
right.
just like public things that they would then come to me and be super pissed off about. So I'm like, I get overly worried sometimes when I talk about these things, and I overanalyze it. I'm like, is he going to hate me if I say this on air? Or what is he going to think if I was to post this post on my Instagram story or whatever? I'm like still worried about it to a certain degree, but I think earlier on I was very worried about it because I didn't want to fuck it up.
Of course, yeah. And I think it's good you want to be considerate of the other person, because that's something that you have to be aware of. But in the end, you're not telling his story, you're telling your story. And you have the right to tell your story in whichever way you want, as long as it's not something where you're presuming to say how someone else thinks or believes. And that's how I've always felt about this type of thing. For years, when I used to blog about my life, etc., it was always, like my wife, when I was married, was just like, she does it, like, her story is her story. But my story, I can talk about it in my own way, and these are my feelings, and these are what's bothering me, and this is my feelings are not, me saying this in no way invalidates how they're feeling or what they intended or what they thought, and so you have to have the right and the freedom to tell your own story.
Agreed.
So.
Just very chill and mellow now. I don't know. I think back to just earlier this year of going on really shitty dates, and I would have these wild ass stories, and
we've already talked about you being covered in semen and having a sore vagina. I think you still have just as many wild ass fucking stories, Sarah. They're just
I just feel like it's more normal now. I guess it's just more normal now, where I'm not dating. I didn't go on a date with a guy for 3 days or so, and then was covered in a semen, and then 2 weeks later was sore from another guy. I mean, I guess I'm just not having. Yeah, maybe it's just one guy. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think this is
better.
This
is definitely better. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think with that, should we?
Let's talk about other people's dating lives, since ours are so exciting.
Yeah, I know. I mean, at least yours are kind of exciting. Mine's not at all. So I appreciate. That's the other reason I appreciate you talking about this stuff, because otherwise we'd have nothing to fucking talk about.
Oh, I'm aware.
So on our Facebook group, which you can join again by going to facebook.com/groups/DKS podcast. Lots of people are in there. I think we've got, I don't know what it is. I stopped
around 1,400 people.
Yeah, like 1,400 people now. So it's really growing. It's fantastic how many people join it every day, and people can ask advice and get input, and they can have people look at their profiles. They can just say, hey, here's what's going on in my life. They can get support. It's a safe place to talk about anything related to dating, sex, or relationships. So we have a lot of people that are actually in relationships that are in there as well, which I really like too. But we had one question, and this does tie into an earlier episode that we did. I feel like maybe 6 or 8 weeks ago. It wasn't that long ago.
About paying for the check, right?
Yeah, it's a very controversial topic. So this person was posting, and I got the sense from her post that it's not about her, but that she was talking to a friend and trying to get input to share with this friend, because the way she wrote it just didn't sound like it was her. But hello, fellow daters, need a debate settled. If a girl goes on a second date with a guy, and at the end of that date, the guy splits the bill, doesn't even offer to pay, same as the first date, then at the end of that date, he goes in for a kiss, and she turns her head, and he acts surprised and says, what, no kiss? Is it wrong for a girl to expect a bit of romance or effort on the guy's part, like buying her a drink or picking up the tab, before he has an expectation of a kiss? And never mind COVID, of course. Disclaimer, this girl does fine on her own financially, has a 22 career in the same industry, owns 2 properties, etc.
Yay! So I feel like we always talk about this. There are no expectations on dates, and paying on a date does not mean you are deserved something, or not paying for a date does not mean, like those two things are not related.
They're completely
the chemistry and paying for a date are just not related. So
yes.
I don't. Cool, you bought me $100 meal. That doesn't mean I'm required to suck your dick. I mean, like same concept there. So cool, like you didn't.
That's how I feel, is that trying to equate those two gives shitty men more confidence.
I think they're owed.
Yeah, to feel that they're owed, basically. I mean, it gives shitty dudes the idea, well, I bought you a drink, you can't even kiss me, you can't, that's what I get, I bought you something, and so it's not an exchange. This is not a I buy you this, you do this. These are two separate issues. Issue one, if a guy goes in for a kiss on a second date and she doesn't want to kiss him, that's okay. But if she's doing it because he didn't buy her a drink, that's...
You shouldn't be dating. Like, really? Are you really going to be that petty?
That's why I find that to be shallow and petty. And the thing is we had some commenters who were like, yeah, that would affect it. And we talked about this in the paying for you who picks up the check episode, where there are women in our group who feel like the man should still be picking up the check because they like to be treated.
I don't think that paying for a date equals romance.
No, I agree.
It's the conversation, it's the chemistry is the romance. Like, I like being wined and dined every once in a while, but like the first couple of dates, this is the second date, I expect, like, in general, I expect nothing, like it's always nice to be treated, but like I'm not gonna kiss you because you didn't pay.
And that's the thing. Well, they were saying basically like it would be a turnoff, that they wouldn't want to date the person, they wouldn't want to kiss the person because that's not the person for them. So that's not about paying, that's a chemistry thing, because that person, they don't have the chemistry with that person. Because I guarantee if they actually had good chemistry with someone and split the check, they would still probably be okay with kissing them.
Yeah.
If someone was super hot, super interesting, and blah blah blah, and then was just like, and they didn't pay for them, they'd probably still be okay with it. So I think.
So it was like if he would have paid, they might have kissed. Yeah. But because he didn't, it's like a double negative of, well, I'm not really that attracted to him, and he didn't pay, so I'm definitely not gonna kiss him.
Yeah, it must be what it is. I don't know. I find it so regressive that to have anyone just be like, oh, I like to be paid for. We all like to be taken care of. But in a world where we're trying to be like, we're all equals too.
Get yourself a sugar daddy, girl. Like, if you want to be taken care of, if you want him to pay for you, get yourself a sugar daddy, or just date. It's not. I mean, obviously, it doesn't sound like this person wants to date rich men by any means, but I mean, like, there are other avenues of, like, to the extreme of these feelings that people are like, oh, well, I won't date someone because they're not a lawyer, a doctor, a engineer, like the list goes on and on.
Yeah, someone like that's just a shallow person.
But I feel like part of these feelings right now, like the extreme, like stems from just this point, and then it goes down the road of, well, he has to make X amount a year and drive a type of car and be whatever, and then it becomes super superficial.
Well, and someone was saying that they just think it's chivalrous, and paying for someone is actually not chivalrous. That has nothing to do with chivalry. Chivalry was something back in the early days about how men treated a horse. Actually, that's where the origin. That's the origin. No, that's the origin of the phrase, and then it evolved, obviously, but it's about keeping someone safe and dry, and opening the door for them, like all those things. But it's not about paying for them. Paying for them is a way to keep someone owing you. That's what paying is, and I like to pay. I like to pay. I mean, for when I go out on a first date, it is something I like to do. But if I say I've got it, and they say no, like I have it, let's split it, or I'll get the next one, I'm gonna say okay, because I'm not gonna argue with them, because like I'm gonna listen to the person I'm with. I'm gonna believe them that they're being honest. But if someone offers to pay, and as soon as you say okay, they immediately discount who you are in their eyes, they're being shitty and hypocritical. Say what you mean. If someone offers to pay and you want them to pay, be like, oh, that's so sweet, thank you, and leave it at that. Don't offer to pay if you don't mean it. That's one thing.
So true. Oh, do you have another thing? Because I was just going to ask you a question about.
Yeah.
So in your scenario where the girl wanted to pay, would you feel like, oh well, because I don't get to pay and I don't get to show my manhood, I'm not gonna, now I feel like she's not that attracted to me anymore. Does that send any? I know it doesn't for you, but I know some men that sends a vibe of, oh well, I feel so.
That's the thing. Like, is if you're a guy and your whole sense of self-worth is tied into paying for someone on a date, then you have no personality and you have nothing worth like providing for anybody. I mean, seriously.
That's the tea, and that's the tea.
I mean, it's serious though. Like, if you're like, oh well, she took away my whole thing is I like to pay for things. Oh, that's your hook.
That's the only thing you can offer.
Yeah, basically, that's usually what it is. Someone who's going to be upset about that. That's all they have to offer. So they have no personality, nothing of interest in their life, and they're probably just a shit human. So, if you find your ego being, I don't know, if your ego is being stricken or beaten by a woman offering to pay, then you need to take a serious look at yourself and stop fucking dating. Like, you shouldn't be dating because that's just stupid. And I think women, if you want a man to pay for you, that's okay. If I think the rule that we came up with too is the person who asked the other person out
for the date,
is probably the person who should, who should pay at least for the first thing. But then after you have that first date, I don't feel like it should be that pattern. It should be whoever wants to. Like, it doesn't really matter. You can alternate, you can split it. It's not a big deal. It's not weird if you don't make it weird. And we're supposed to be in a modern society. Like, we should be able to be like, yeah, split checks.
Yeah.
Why is that such a big fucking deal?
I don't know. Even like Master of None and I, we got subs and whatever. And I was like, no, I got it. He's like, oh, you're paying for me? How nice. I was like, I got you, babe. Like stupid shit like that where, I mean, it was,
right.
$10 subs
he didn't
each,
get
but
his ego hurt about it either. Cause he's, he has more to offer than just paying for things.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah,
can we be done with this conversation just in general though? This continues to be a topic of conversation throughout just dating in general.
Well, I feel like it's one of those that we shouldn't have to keep having, and it's one of those like I really feel it, but it still blows my mind to see people in the comments that are like adult women who aren't like 50 or 60. But women in their 20s and 30s who are like, I want to be paid for. And I'm thinking, you don't want a relationship. You don't want a partnership. You want someone who's going to hold money over your head is what you want. Like that, because that's what that sets a precedent for holding money over your head. That sets, I want to be taken care of. So you want someone who's going to take care of you, who's going to pay all the bills.
So you don't have to lift a finger. You're basically just there as.
Is that what you want? And then all of a sudden you're beholden to them like that. Cause that's like, I feel like that's the slippery slope that it goes down. So, I don't know. Somebody did comment in there as well that maybe we should also normalize romancing men. Like, it shouldn't just be about romancing. Maybe that needs to go both ways. And I did reply and agree and say that this is true. That maybe someone should make some effort before they put a finger in my butt. Like I feel like and
you would
buy me a drink first. Before that.
Buy me a drink before the finger. Thank you. I do think though that I don't know every woman out there, obviously, but there could be more of an effort to kind of wine and dine the man in a relationship, at least. Maybe
I don't know. I feel like men would have to be really worth it to be wined and dined, and I don't really feel like we are.
Well,
the romance thing is,
but I'm thinking like after I've been dating you for X amount of time, I think, not that I wouldn't do it early on, but like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I see the point. So.
Yeah. So. It's a topic that I feel like is going to keep coming up. We did a whole episode on this, and just still seeing people like be kind of stubborn about this is kind of obnoxious. And I don't know. I try not to judge people, but I judge those people a little bit. Like I do judge them a little bit. I just like I judge that whole mercenary attitude. I feel like it is very mercenary and it's very shallow. Like dealing with who pays for what is an extremely shallow way of dating.
Or having a running tab of, okay, well, he's paid X amount and I've paid X amount. So like there are people out there that want things to be even Like, but they don't state that they want it to be even.
Right.
But
right.
in their mind, they're keeping a tally of, okay, well, last time we went out, he spent around $60. So this time I'll try to spend a little bit, like, in that range. And then so to make sure that's even, it's like, well, just if you want to fucking pay, just fucking pay. I don't understand what the issue is, but
it's frustrating, and it's a topic that I feel like will keep coming up. So maybe the best option is good communication with people, and don't be a hypocrite. Those two things are important.
Don't go in with expectations that the other person's going to pay, just like
going to pay or going to kiss you if you do pay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of expectations, did you have high expectations for our sticker sale?
What a segue.
Oh man.
I was gonna say something about somebody being a garbage human being, and I was gonna say, speaking of garbage human being, have you bought our garbage human being sticker? No, people really seem to be loving our merch so far. We've got the 4 stickers. We've got, of course, our Dating Kind of Sucked logo sticker. We had these cool die cut stickers. The brunch is not a personality trait. The shirtless selfies are not a personality trait, and then finally the garbage human being sticker.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, I think that's everybody's favorite. But they're all fun. They're all clever, and I think they all will look good on your bike or laptop or whatever you're gonna do. You know, your condom container.
Why would you put it on your condom container?
I don't know. You just put a garbage human being thing on the outside of your little condom thing. I could see that. That'd be funny.
I guess, yeah, I could see that. Dating Kind of Sucks condoms coming next. But... We'll get the whole pack with the stickers too. Yeah.
That would only make sense if they had to. If then they were legally obligated to name their babies that they had if the condoms didn't work after one of us. You know.
Oh Jesus. Let's not.
If you haven't bought our stickers yet, you can. All you have to do is go to datingkindofsucks.com/shop. You can also find them on our Facebook page as well at Dating Kind of Sucks.
We're working to get them available on Instagram as well, to shop on our Instagram, and once that's available, you can do that on there.
They'll buy them on Instagram, and you can they buy them. It's a 4-pack you can buy, and they're being mailed out individually by me. There's no order process. This is part of this is what I do for work now. Is I mail out stickers.
There's a little worker bee over there.
Yeah, I know. Little handwritten notes that I send to everybody who orders them. So you might get a cute little note as well. So yeah, go ahead and order those if you've been looking for something fun, and you also want to support Dating Kind of Sucks. We appreciate it. And if you are one of our patrons from Patreon, you can get a $5 discount that I think expires at the end of this month. I think I did it for a month. Okay. So you can enjoy that as well. And I think with that, we're gonna go to break, and we'll be back.
Well, we already know that you are not going on any social distance dates, and you're not doing any FaceTime dates, and you're really not navigating the dating world during this pandemic.
That's true. It is
outside of going to South Carolina to see that one person. So
well, yeah, right? I don't even know if there's any potential there anyways. I'm not going there for any romantic intentions.
True.
I mean, if shit happens, but that's not the goal. I'm not my life. I haven't really embraced this as a new normal, but I kind of came across this as an idea for the topic just because I think we are in a place right now where we have been doing this. We as a society has been doing this since March. And at some point, it's not that we have to just get back to normal, because it's not. We have to kind of realize, okay, this type of thing is going to continue to happen for, I think, quite some time. Right. How do we adapt and still try to lead some type of a quasi-normal life, especially if you're single, a quasi-normal life, then, because you can't just stay alone forever,
right.
That's not going to work. And so what do we do?
And I do think that dating apps have seen somewhat of a spike from articles that I've read that Tinder and Bumble and Hinge usage has been up, and then Tinder's adapted to have a new chat feature called Face to Face, and they've seen the demand based on people trying to find some way to connect with others because they've been alone at home.
Yes. And I really feel like it's one of those things where you have to decide at some point, if you've been putting shit off because, well, I'll just wait until after this is over,
Well, we thought it was going to be a month, you know.
Right.
Oh, I won't date for the next month. That's just a detox. But 4 months, hold up now.
Right. And like, no matter what steps you're thinking, like people, like I'm sure there are people out there who are like, have been dating for a while and they were going to propose over the summer, and now they're thinking, oh, I'll just wait till after this is over. Well, maybe you don't. Maybe this is something that you have to start realizing that, that this is something we're going to adapt to, that, wearing masks might be something people start doing on a regular basis, being this kind of social distancing, trying to maybe be more aware of your hygiene and your cleanliness as far as like germs go, is going to be something that is going to become a more normal way of life for people. And so maybe you try to incorporate, your existing life into what is happening now.
Yeah. I mean, I know people who have still gotten married. They've just changed what that wedding looks like. They've had, maybe 10 people and they got married outside and they had a photographer and it was a very simple wedding versus what they had originally planned. Or same thing with proposals and things like that, where people are still trying to get married, which I don't know. No, I'm just kidding, which I don't know why.
That's a whole nother another story there.
But people are still getting married and getting engaged, but they're doing it in a slightly different way. That, like, I saw wedding photos where they had like a bride and groom mask that they wore, and that was one of the photos at their wedding. And I was like, I mean, to adapt with the times, I mean, even just hand sanitizer stations at weddings, and people are still trying to have some of the events that they have had planned for this year just slightly altered, which the same can go for dating.
Yes, exactly. Well, and I mean, all of your relationships, all of your, whether it's it's dating or just interpersonal relationships, like I would say that it's time to stop putting everything off until all this is over and start trying to think about how can I adapt what I want to do into something that's going to be safe and also, still fit in within the rules of society right now. But yeah, I had friends that actually they got married in Los Angeles and they did a complete Zoom wedding.
Oh, wow.
So it was the minister was there and he was wearing a mask and the bride and groom were wearing masks during the ceremony, and then everything else was Zoom. People just came in for the Zoom to watch it, and I think they had 2 witnesses and that was it. They didn't have anybody else there.
How do you kiss the bride?
Well, you took the mask off to kiss the bride.
You take the mask off and then you put it back on?
I think they had the mask on for the minister's safety. Obviously, ideally, if you're getting married to somebody, you're probably,
right.
not wearing masks when you're just with them. I would hope. I'm sure there's some weirdos who are. I'm sure there's some people who are like sitting in their house with their spouse and they're both wearing masks and nobody else lives there, and that's just kind of fucking weird.
I don't get that, but I get wearing them out in public and indoor places and things like that. But yeah.
Is there anybody, I think, more obnoxious than like the angry white guy who feels
refuses to wear one?
Yeah, who feels like being inconvenienced is like oppression. Like he thinks he's being oppressed, and like,
and it's literally always it's like white guy. It's fucking white people. It's fucking white people. It's like
fucking white people.
It's white women that I see at my second job that get up in arms because things are different. Because I work at a spa and we don't allow you to wear a robe anymore, and we don't allow you to hang out in the lounge anymore. And we've literally had negative reviews because they feel like their experience has been cut short. And I don't know what to tell you. I mean, we have a capacity cap now, and we can't allow you to just hang out all day in a robe, and we're not allowing that. You're not special. So just go the fuck home once you're done. So
and I just love too, like, thinking these people literally think they're being oppressed. And all of the, like, you can just imagine how much
freedoms. Fuck their freedoms.
People of color are rolling their eyes, saying, "You think this is being oppressed? Like, you think."
Oh yeah.
The fact you have to put a piece of cloth over your mouth to go somewhere is being oppressed.
For fucking you, yeah.
Oh, so fragile. Anyways, it's just like that. That's a whole other story. But that actually, that might be a good new red flag. Like, if we're talking about dating in general, a good new red flag is if your person is thinks they're being oppressed.
Anti-masker. Is that a new thing?
It's the same thing. Like someone who's mad, who's angry at or shitty to like bartenders and servers. A big red flag. Same type of thing. Somebody who's going to be like thinks that they're being oppressed by having to wear a mask is or probably...
people making fun of others for wearing a mask too.
Oh yeah.
Because even though in the county that I live in, we're required to wear one when we're out at public places, other surrounding counties going there, me wearing a mask, people give me weird fucking looks like I'm the insane person. And I'm like, no, Susan, actually, you should probably wear a mask too because you're 55 and I'm sure you haven't been practicing social distancing at all. But, you know, I digress.
Yeah, it's a whole issue. But that's the thing is, so there's this whole like world that has changed. Our world has changed, and I would say elements of it have changed permanently. You know, and maybe not everything's going to be permanent, but there are going to be certain aspects of this that are going to continue in perpetuity.
Yeah, I think if you haven't already and you're still dating right now, I think the virtual dates are here to stay. We've said that before. They're still, as apps are expanding, I know you hate them, but as apps are expanding the usage, I mean, Tinder just released their new feature like 2 weeks ago or a week ago. So they're trying to adapt because there's a demand for it now, because that's like the break the ice. And I mean, we already talked last episode on how I've kind of done this social distancing dating thing kind of right from the beginning of waiting 2 weeks and, you know, waiting 2 weeks, but doing FaceTime dates in between and then doing a social distancing date and then, you know, deciding, okay, well, it's been some time and taking those steps. I think you'll also see a change in venues where people are having dates now, because in big cities, at least in Nashville here, and I know in Orlando, bars are closed unless they serve food. You know, the typical place to go on a first date is some type of bar. So now it's, well, where do we even go for a first date? What else can we do? And I think there's a level of people get scared of doing anything outside of their normal anyways. So they go, well, I can't do the bar that I would normally go to. I can't do this. So I feel weird to ask them out on a date because I don't want to do anything else because that just seems odd to me. Yeah. There's probably some level of that of, well, I'm not going to do a walk, or I'm not going to do a picnic, or I'm not going to go to a restaurant because I'm just so used to going to a bar and grabbing a drink. So I don't know what else to do. So then they just kind of give up.
Well, the bar restaurant thing, that's true. But I mean, a restaurant's the same as a bar. If you're going to go to a bar, you can go to a restaurant and have a drink there usually, you know.
As long as you can get in, or you set a reservation, or you follow the certain rules. I mean, you're going to have some people that won't want to do that, period. Like,
I mean, that's true.
I mean, they don't feel
Orlando,
safe.
Like the bars that serve food are still bars. I mean, you're just going to go. You can still go sit at the bar. You don't need a reservation, etc. But it's not such a big deal. But you know, that's the thing is, and I'm stuck in my way. I'm stubborn. I'm not going on a fucking picnic.
It's too hot now, but
well, yeah. Even if it wasn't, I don't. You know, I need a table to eat my food. I don't like picnics. I don't like the idea of it. I don't want to go on a walk for a first date, you know, like just none of these things appeal to me either. So maybe that's another reason I'm just going to be perpetually single.
Yeah, I think you're in that category of not fuck it, but you're not like I think there's a category of people who really want to date right now and they're trying to adapt and find other ways. And how I've kind of, and I feel like I fit into that category. So there's like me in that category, and then you are just the fuck it category. I'm not fucking with dating right now until I don't even know when, but I don't care to concern myself with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, for the people who are adapting, they're like, okay, it's going to seem weird that I suggest we do a picnic or whatever, but hopefully the other person's up for it, or hopefully it works out and everything's fine. So I think like that was my thought. I was kind of tiptoeing around. I still want to go out with you, but I want to make this as normal as possible. So here are our options.
Right. Which I mean, I understand that. Yeah. So you do have to pay attention to what's available to you. I would still go on dates. I'll still go to Ale House. You know, I can still go to Ale House, thankfully, right now. Who knows if that'll change again, you know, if we'll see what moron DeSantis does. He might close everything down again, but
moron DeSantis, yeah, he's a moron.
Yeah, he's a winner. But I'm also, it's also the idea that that at some point I'm going to have to be like, okay, I guess I should go on some dates. Like, I guess I got to do something. And, you know, I'm also, you know, I've been having people over for the one-on-one pool days and stuff like that, and to me that'd be a fun date. Hey, come over, I'll grill some food on the grill, and we
but what have we said about that?
What are you talking about?
Would you not go over to, do not let them pick you up and drive you to the first date, and don't go over to their house on a first date when you don't really know them. No, you are not the fucking exception to the rule here. I
feel like I am. To be honest, actually, I would say this is. I feel like I am the exception to the rule.
No, because that's why I was shaking my head when you said that girl invited you to stay the night at her house. I'm like, he's like, oh well, you're like, oh, it's fine, whatever. And literally, my thought, still like not normal, but okay. I mean,
Right.
still
Yeah.
not the exception, but okay.
But I think in that case, I am definitely the exception.
Mm.
Yeah, come over to the house. It's a it's a well-known area. The house is a public location
If someone
on
feels
Facebook.
comfortable with that.
Well, of course, yeah, of course they have to feel comfortable. I wouldn't want someone to not feel comfortable. But I don't know. That's true. I don't think about those things sometimes. But I could see changing dates just to being pool days, and then that'd be the new date. It'd be so much easier. No, you don't have to worry about dressing up. And just no makeup. I feel like that'd be the way to do
Yeah.
it.
I will say dating in this new normal, it has been great for me because I have not worn makeup in the past 4 months. And Master of None has no idea he knows what I look like without makeup, but I haven't done my hair in months. I haven't put makeup on my skin in forever. And he just knows me. It's very simple. And I'm like, he's going to see me with makeup on and hair done.
The first time I saw you with makeup, I was like, I didn't recognize you for a second because it's just like I'm so used to just seeing natural
Right.
you. I kind of like that concept of people just being like, oh, this is who I am now, and I don't need to wear makeup.
Yeah. I mean, and we touched on that last episode too, but I don't know. It's just like another element of this new normal of I feel very just down to earth during this time. Maybe it's also the person that I'm dating, but it is what it is. I am how I am right now, and if you don't like it, leave. And that does not hurt my feelings. Where I think in the past, with going on first dates and second dates and early on dating, I was very concerned with my appearance and trying to have my hair perfect and trying to have my makeup look a certain way. And now I just really don't give a shit because I'd rather just focus on other things that I deem more important.
Well, so let's talk about other things related to like now like and not to bring it on to you, put the spotlight on you in this case, but.
Right.
but we're going to anyway.
Okay.
So part of navigating this, like, so we keep saying navigating this new normal is taking steps that you might take steps with, like in dating, in relationships. And so we were talking about dating, like maybe trying to find ways to go on dates and actually maybe have some physical contact with people, not necessarily sexual, but just physical, because that intimacy is important. It's very important for your emotional health as well. But beyond that, once you start dating someone, I feel like it's easy to just kind of tread water. It's easy to just be like, oh yeah, we're just dating, we just started dating, and there's no we don't need to have those conversations because it's it's just we're gonna see what happens because it's in the middle of a pandemic. Like we'll just kind of but maybe if things aren't really going to go back to normal for a long time, so at what point do you have those conversations?
And that's what I'm trying to figure out now because I am at the point where it's been 3 months. I really like him. We've been calling each other babe, and I guess I don't want to bring up the, hey, so do you want to be official? Or, hey, what do you think about being my boyfriend? I'm awkward in general.
By the way, he's your fucking boyfriend. Like.
Well, it's funny because my mom's like, oh, how's your boyfriend? And I'm like, he's not my boyfriend. And they're like, so what is he? I'm like, I don't know, but we haven't decided that yet. So I'm just, don't call him that. It's fine. We're just doing our thing on the weekends and hanging out when we can. But yeah, I mean,
seeing each other and having sex with each other exclusively for months. You talk to only each other, and you call each other babe. You go on actual, you do other things other than just hook up. So I feel like.
But I think why we didn't want to.
If it quacks like a boyfriend, if it floats like a boyfriend, and if it looks like a boyfriend, yeah.
That's boyfriend's such a foreign term for me, but what is that? That meme that's going around right now. It's like, what do you feed a boyfriend? It's like there's wet food and there's dry food. I don't know if you see that one floating around lately.
It's like pizza rolls and mac and cheese or something.
Mac and cheese, yeah. I'm like, that sounds pretty accurate.
Yeah, that is accurate for me.
And mayonnaise, there's that too. But I think part of the navigating it is deciding, okay, so we've been dating for X amount of months. At what point do we say this is the new normal and we'll just go in and become official right now? Because that's kind of what Master of None and I have been like treading water on, like you mentioned, is okay, well, we'll just keep hanging out, and eventually something will change. That'll be the click that, oh, we're official now. But that's not going to be the case.
Right. And the thing is, and it's also easy to get into maybe a habit or just get into a routine where it feels comfortable. But for some people, not everybody like feels the need to have like a, oh, I want to define this, but I think it's important to define it. And I know that some people will be like, oh, well, I don't like, and I'm not saying this is master or none. I'm saying these are like kind of douchey guys will say this, like, oh, I don't feel the need to define anything. Like they say that because they don't want to, like, they're almost scared of taking that next step of commitment. But I mean, let's be honest, committing to just being a boyfriend or a girlfriend it's not a huge step. You're not like giving up half your income to them. You're not like, like there's nothing really happening. If you're really, it has this, people have this fear of it and they shouldn't, but it's one of those things that's really easy to end when you want to, if it doesn't work out. Yeah. But I think that it's important to say, okay, well, maybe we're not going to be able to go on all these regular dates that we would be doing, like, because I feel like there's this idea, and maybe you can tell me if I'm wrong, but okay, there's this concept of maybe I want to know what it's like to bring him to a party. I want to know what it's like to, like, go out on the town for the night. Like, I want to know what it's like to, do all these like things that you can't do right now. Go to a concert with him, like, because but you don't necessarily have to. If those are all like little things in your head that you want to check off before you're like, oh, are we going to be in a relationship now? Before we, these are the normal things you do with dates before you decide to settle in. You've had to skip those.
Yeah. Well, those are the adrenaline rush parts of getting to know someone before being in a relationship. Going to a holiday party, going on these fun dates, and those things help build until you're in that relationship where I think like I like stripped away my makeup and my doing my hair, like it's kind of stripped our relationship down to the core of we're two people, we get along really well, we enjoy having sex with one another. And things like there's a solid foundation there. Like I think if anything, and
you have feelings.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure he does too.
I'd hate to admit it because I'm just like such a cold heart. We were talking about, you'll hate this. We were talking about our horoscopes yesterday, and we were talking about like how dumb like what our horoscopes say about us, and I was like, my horoscope says I'm a cold-hearted bitch, so just watch out. And he was like, oh, okay, but. But where was I going with this with feelings? But yeah, it's definitely stripped us down and built the foundation where I don't think with pre-COVID stuff, I was running on the adrenaline of, oh, we did this, and oh, we went to the fucking opera, and oh, we went to Topgolf, and oh, he met my, all of these exciting things that we haven't had. Yes, we've had experiences of like kayaking and spending a whole day together, which was amazing, and playing games, and it's just different, but we're still getting that same connection of I like you, I like spending time with you, and I want this to continue. And that's the same like summary I would get in other dates too if it was going well. Right. And the exciting things is like, okay, well, I like him and we're having fun and let's continue this. It just looks a little different, but I don't feel like we're being cheated out of getting to know one another by any means. We're just not getting the adrenaline rush, and that's literally everybody, though.
Well, that's sometimes what makes bad relationships. Actually, is that adrenaline? Is that you make these cool memories, and you assume that because the memories are cool, that the person is worthwhile, and so then you go into a relationship with them, and then over time you get to know them better, and you realize they're just not right for you. Whereas in this situation, it's just like, I think as we've seen, a lot of bad relationships are ending over this pandemic because people are stuck with someone and they're finally seeing all of the negatives, and they're finally realizing, oh, this is not someone I can spend 24/7 with. Like, I just can't be with this person anymore.
Yeah.
I feel like the inverse is also true, that when you meet someone and you don't have a lot of activities to distract you to do, your only activities is to getting to know the other person, and that's really all you have to do, that you can actually build a relationship just as even easier, and you can you'll know that it has a higher chance of being the right thing because you're skipping kind of not the honeymoon phase, but you're skipping a lot of the fluff, and you're actually getting to know the substance of the person.
And I 100% agree.
In your particular situation, one reason that I totally know, like, that you have feelings is that Was that
How
last
do you
night?
know?
Last night you were eagerly excited about playing game night with his family.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were like, I was like, because when you finally called me after you cleaned the jizz off your chest, you and I was like, you know what, I don't want to record now. Then we're gonna record tomorrow. And you're like, oh good, I can go play. I can make it for game night tonight. And I can make it for virtual game night. And you're like, actually, like you were giddy about it. And I was like, oh, she likes him. And that was cute.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was a good sign. It's a good sign that something as stultifyingly boring as playing virtual video games or virtual
Well,
board
okay.
games
It
on
is
video
nice to
chat.
get to know his mom and his sister, and I think that is cool. Don't shit on me.
But no, I'm not saying. I'm just saying that is generally just a terrible like activity. Like that is not an activity that anyone in their right mind 6 months ago would have chosen as a fun thing to do. Right?
Fair. Okay, 6 months ago, correct. Okay, I'll give
Yes,
you that. I'll give you that.
is something that you are looking forward to now.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I wouldn't want to play board games with my mother at all, anytime on fucking virtual chat or whatever. So, but yeah, so I think that it's a
We're building more meaningful relationships in this new normal. I think people have the potential, like you said, to strip away the fluff and get to who that person really is, and you can weed out faster. You can weed out faster through virtual dates, and you can weed out faster from just hanging out with them without those exciting adrenaline rush type dates.
right because you're not going to go bar hopping. You can't go like you just can't go to the club. Like those
I'm
things
not
aren't going
getting
to happen.
wasted on a first date, chugging back drinks, going, oh, well, because I mean, honestly, think about it. Me dating prior to COVID, this is going to sound so trashy. I would pick any spot in downtown Nashville because that
Right.
meant that I did not have to fucking drive home, which
Sure.
meant I could drink a couple of drinks, which
Yep.
meant I can get a little sloppy,
Yep.
which then went to I can invite him back,
Yeah.
rinse and repeat. And it wasn't anything sustainable. Like it was
Right.
just a fun night where I got drunk, made out with a guy, hung out with him the second and third time sober, and went, that wasn't that great. Like I have so many of those stories.
You do have a lot of those stories. Yeah.
But now it's like I mean, like Master of None and I will have one drink, but it's not like we're going out with the intention of getting wild and crazy and then coming back and having drunk sex or anything like that. It's like I'm sober 95% of the time when I'm around him, and I
Yeah.
realize I don't want, like, I've literally dated guys pre-COVID that I'm just like, I just have to drink and it'll be fine. Like
Right.
that is a
Right.
terrible fucking thing for me to tell myself, but I'm like, oh, maybe this relationship will get better if I just loosen up a little bit and keep drinking. Nope, Sarah, that's a problem.
And I think what it is essentially you're taking every step a little bit slower in the beginning. You're like, is this person even worth my time to meet in person?
Mm-hmm.
And that's an assessment you have to make versus, oh, it's easy, oh yeah, we're both in the same town, let's just go out me for a drink right now. Those are two very different situations. And so you're like, it's like a relationship obviously is like building a house, and this is taking such a long time on the foundation because you're building a really solid foundation because you're really getting to know the person, you're really getting to spend quality time with them. And so then when you actually finally build the house, like it has a better chance of standing up to whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it really does, because without the house, what the fuck is the relationship? It's just
yeah,
sex once and then that's it. I mean, like think about just I don't know. I just keep going back to normal dates where people would rush. They would barely text through the app. They would try to push a first date. They would get
right,
dressed up for that first date and waste their time, drink on the first date, the potential to make out, to fuck that person, to whatever on the first date.
yep,
And then to replay that night, which is already hazy because you're drinking and adrenaline and whatever, and then going, oh, I can make this work. That was a fun time. And then you're going off of that's your foundation.
yeah,
And then and then, I mean, that's literally Sergeant Slaughter and I. Like that was the foundation, was a fun drunk night and trying to build off of that, and then trying to like say, okay, well, now that I'm sober, this can kind of work, and let me just put the pieces here, and nope, and then I'm just running off of not even real fuel. What was I going to say? Just empty whatever. I don't drive very often. I hate that. I was trying to use some like smart turbine. I don't know. Just I quit on that one. But anyways, you know what I mean. You run out of steam. You run out of steam. Let's just say that. Yes.
There we go.
Yeah.
So I think that, the important thing for anybody who's right now, that if you are putting things off, regardless of whether you're putting off just going on dates or putting off trying to meet people or putting off having a relationship, putting off like whatever, taking the next step in anything until it's all over, it might be a really important time to start thinking about why. That are there ways that you can now adapt taking the next step to the current situation and start, because the sooner you start treating this like this is still just normal, not normal life, but that this is life, the easier it is to, I feel like, feel more comfortable in this current life.
Yeah. I think too, I mean, dating's still going to be terrible. No, like depending on where you're swiping and who you're swiping on and who you're talking to. But there has to be an element of, and this was kind of for me early on in the pandemic, of I can kind of weed out the people who are just here because they're bored. I can also kind of weed out the people who are just wanting to fuck because they're immediately just trying to meet up to hang out. So if you really are looking for something, there's probably a level of, okay, I get a vibe from them that they're more serious right now, or like they're trying to be safe, but they also want to meet up because they care. They're insisting on virtual dates because I have to think that there are people on the apps right now that are like, fuck a mask, let's go out and grab a drink. I don't really care, whatever. And I would like to think those people are also the same ones that just want to have sex with you and really they don't take dating seriously in general. Fuck, they don't even take wearing a mask that serious anyways. Right. They're just not at that point in their lives.
Those are the guys who are also like, oh, I don't have any condoms, but I'll just pull out.
Hope you're fine with that. Yeah. And I've been tested recently, but I can't give you a date, or I can't really recently. I've been tested once in my life. So. Yeah.
It's definitely it's interesting. It's because we want to proceed, and it's been so easy for everyone just to put things on pause right now, and I think it's important to unpause and just start saying, okay, now let's start moving forward and trying to just incorporate safety and concern into what we're doing. It's like, and this is maybe a weird analogy, but like when I got divorced and I moved into the house that I'm in now, I moved everything in, and I said, okay, I'm giving myself 1 month to unpack every box in my house. I don't want any boxes sitting up for months and months and months. Like I was like, I need this to feel like a home so that I can feel like I'm progressing in life, that I'm actually moving forward. And so it was important to me to unpack everything, hang shit on the walls, like, just make it feel like a place that I wanted to live, not a place that I was still moving into, 3 months down the road. And I feel like that's kind of what this is too. This is like, okay, well, yeah, I needed to get this done. I'll wait till after. No, think about how you can do it now, and you're going to find that life gets easier.
Yeah. And we're allowed to experience the pleasure, and I hate to use the word pleasure, but we're allowed to experience the pleasure that comes with dating and getting to know someone and having sex too, if like you're down for that. But instead of postponing that gratification by saying, oh, it'll be better in a month, so I'll just hold off, instead of, okay, well, maybe I'll do it in steps of, okay, well, I'll take the time to redo my profile a little bit and change up my bio, and that's like step one. And then, okay, well, maybe I'll slowly get on the app a little bit more and start swiping. And okay, well, I've warmed up to talking to a few people, and let's see how that progresses. You don't have to turn it on and off either.
Right.
So, but obviously, like last episode, we're not trying to have pen pals by any means, but if you really are serious about it, just slowly take the steps. If you completely cut cold turkey, now try to take the steps of, okay, well, how can I adapt to this situation? Because like you said too, I think the people who have completely stopped, they don't see the benefit in it because they're not getting to go on the fancy first dates. They're not getting to get dressed up or wined and dined or any of those things. But that's not, if you're looking for a relationship, that can't be the core of your relationship.
Exactly. That's a really good point. Is if that's what you're like, well, I don't want to date because I don't want to, like, I only like when people take me out on fancy dates. Then you're not looking to date. Like you're looking for something different than actual meaningful connections with human beings. Mm-hmm. But if you're looking for actual meaningful connections with human beings, right now is probably a pretty good time to try to create those, because there's not anything else to do in the world, and so you have more reason to create these meaningful connections.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Do you see any downsides with this navigating the new normal besides people being dicks like they normally are? Or...
I mean, I could see people being, obviously you're gonna have those shitty people, but I think it'll make it easier to weed people out. The one downfall that I can see is that being stuck in places where a lot of events might be happening at home. Once you get past that process, is that there's probably the risk of someone who's emotionally manipulative or abusive getting welcomed into a home, like that, maybe where they wouldn't otherwise be welcome because they might have been someone that just, you kind of slip by your radar, and maybe now they're getting more attention and they're like feeding off of it. I don't know, but I feel like those people are also easier to spot as well, because half of their manipulation has to be done. It can't be done when you're, drunk at a club. It has to basically be done by text and everything like that. Like,
they have to be constantly texting. I definitely think there are signs of the people who are constantly texting. Well, why aren't you texting me? They text good morning 5 times, and what'd you eat for breakfast, and how's your day going?
Jealousy, or you're not talking to other people and stuff like that too.
Right.
And so I could see that being an issue, but I think you'd be able to screen them out, because as long as you're doing better in screening people before you go on that first date, I feel like that actually, like even the first virtual date, that will help with how to screen them out to find people that are actually legitimately interested in you as a person, and that you are also interested in, mutually.
Yeah. And I think too, I mean, as things are starting to open back up in certain cities and other cases are starting to explode in states that both you and I live in, I think it's fine, even if, because like my virtual dates were hours long, where even if you just wanted to set up a quick 15-minute and just set the precedent of, let's just talk for 15 minutes just to kind of see, whatever. Why aren't we should do some of that too, instead of calling it a virtual date and expecting it to be X amount of hours, because maybe you already feel comfortable going out. So this is just like step 1A, and step actual like 1 is going out on that real date, but you kind of want to have that buffer beforehand and only doing it for 15 minutes instead of like a full virtual date for 2 hours.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think, saying, hey, I can only talk for this time, then I have to go, is not a bad idea.
Yeah. Because we're like putting that virtual date on the pedestal of, this is the same as a real first date, which it's not. I've already said before, like 2 virtual dates equals like maybe 1 first date. So just schedule 15 minutes. I'll pencil you in between 8 and 8:15. Don't be like that, but just say, I only have a little bit of time.
Schedule too many of them either.
Don't do that either.
Like, don't jump to the virtual date. I would say give it a little bit of time to see how they handle just being able to speak English and talk to you, and use their words first, and then go to the virtual date. And just don't be afraid to take the steps in life that you would normally be taking. So I'd be interested in hearing what other people have to think about that. I have to say about that too. And like, if you are someone who is putting things off right now, like you are putting things off, I'd like to hear about it. Like, I think it'd be interesting to hear what you're putting off and what your justification is. Like, what is it that how have you decided that that's the thing to do, is to wait? So you can email us that if you have something in a situation like that. I'd like to hear about it. Sarah would too. And you can email us at datingkindofsuckspodcast@gmail.com, and you can always email us with any questions there.
Yeah, or you can join our Facebook group and start your own discussion on there as well at facebook.com/group/DKS podcast. Like we said earlier, we got that growing member list, so there's tons of opinions in there. And if you want to, DM us on any of our personal Instagrams or our Dating Kinda Sucks Instagram @DatingKindaSucks, feel free to reach out.
Absolutely. You can also, if you're listening to this, you can watch us on YouTube, and you can see that at youtube.com/datingkindasucks. And of course, if you want to be one of our patrons, we would love to have the support, because for us creating this content, it'd be great for as little as $5 a month. You can support us there at patreon.com/DKS podcast. And finally, if we'd love for you to buy our stickers, buy the merch. They're really cool. You can at least check them out. Buy our stuff. But check it out at least at datingkindasucks.com/shop. And if you are listening on iTunes, we've got so many great reviews, so many great 5-star reviews and great ratings. And I feel like most people who've listened have gone in and put not most people, but a lot of people who've listened have gone in and put the effort. It's like I feel
not
like
in a
it's
while though.
Not in a while.
We have new pandemic listeners that
yes.
Please give us a 5-star rating and review on iTunes right now
really
if you're listening on iTunes.
It really helps us. We are we're rising in the charts, and it actually makes a huge difference when you leave ratings and reviews. So please, 5-star rating and review on iTunes would be great. And other than that, we will be back in 2 weeks with an in-person episode.
Oh God, I can't wait for that. Are we taking shots of what the hell are
we might? I think it might be an episode where we just get drunk and talk. Like there might not be a topic. It might just be just a for the fans, like who just want to it might not be like a
because we might not have like an end of season, end of year episode this year because I might not go back to Florida. So this might be the only time I see you this year too.
That's true.
Shit, we could have we're not gonna have Master of None on. I was like, shit, if he's there and we record, that would just be a whole new thing. But
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that either. Now that I'm saying that out loud, let's maybe not.
But we might do shots. We'll see. It should be a fun episode, so make sure you check that out, and that'll of course be coming out in 2 weeks.
Whether you're married or single or poly or ace, or hanging out with swingers back at your place, listen to us as we get no luck on Tinder and Bumble and plenty of yucks, trying and having no luck, because we all know dating kinda sucks. Sarah and Adam are 2 of a kind. He says stupid shit and she doesn't mind. They're not doing this show to make any buck. Life as a chicken whose feathers they pluck. Why does it work? Well, here is the crux. They both know dating kinda sucks. Dating kinda sucks.